All right, we are back, and it is game number 1 in the other semifinals. A best of 3 between these two players, and in the top left side of Ruins of Ceres, we've got none other than the Yellow Protoss, My Insanity's Botvinnik.
In the bottom left, as the green Zerg, he's Guru.
So, Poland getting knocked down already through Art, but that was Protoss. We'll see if Guru takes Botvinnik in this series, or Botvinnik can maybe take on Guru. But I do want to say, coming into it, as much as I applaud and really appreciate how good Botvinnik has been playing today, we haven't seen his TvZ yet, and Guru is pretty good in this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also shown they could overcome cheese and weird builds too, having beaten Lily Canine to get here.
Right? Yeah, Botvinnik really super came onto our radar with his TVP against Harsum, but I do recall him being a solid enough Terran versus anyone else that he faced. So there was TVT or TVZ. I think he showed a couple of good effort games, I guess you could call, where like it was against like Sulky or someone, I want to say, like a really good Zerg player, and it was good. It just wasn't up to par. But that was 2 months ago, I think, like before the 10 qualifiers, obviously, and that's a long time. He has gotten like apparently a lot better in that time, and certainly I think still calling for that final spot.
Well, we'll see which of these two get there. Ruins of Stress is a very interesting first map for them to have to deal with. Keep in mind, all maps are pre-chosen, and it is losers pick afterwards. So these two are going to have to, whether they like the map or not, deal with it.
Yeah, deal with it.
Yeah,
we do
sunglasses.
have a factory on the way for Botvinnik, but it makes sense. Very few people are actually going for the barracks follow-up, and if they are, it's usually because, well, they started off with 2 or 3 barracks, so they went for Reapers. But since it's Ruins, it's not going to be a multiple Reaper build.
So, I'm really mad that this bug we had talked about earlier has been brought to light for me. Because now I'm noticing it more. Like, beforehand, I think it would maybe happen at the same ratio, but I noticed it only once or twice. And now this is really just... Ignorance was bliss before when I thought I was just a shitty observer. And I probably still am. I'm not going to say this is what makes the man here, but it is annoying, really annoying knowing that this middle mouse thing is an issue.
I think you're fine. You know, 99% of people don't even recognize observing. That's good news.
That's also not good news, but you know.
Yeah, it is. See, the only reason anyone makes those threads for like Funka or Flow is that one person remembered that there's an observer and they made a thread, so now everyone remembers. The key to being a good observer is never being noticed.
I'm wondering if it'll go on the top. I've only ever noticed a trigger on the left and the right. Yeah, it can go up. Okay.
Well, won't. So this is interesting. Patience is no longer on dead pixels.
Yes, and I know why, and it's really stupid, and it's absolutely Kespa bullshit reasoning.
I was gonna say something about, you know, not being too surprised actually, so I guess along similar veins probably.
I can't really reveal my source.
Sure, yeah.
But the TLDR is he's getting in trouble for playing too well because Kespa doesn't like that he's on a not Kespa team. So they are finding different ways to punish him, which again is not public information, but I think that kind of sucks and is quite shitty.
Well, I mean, I guess we're gonna start the rumor mills.
No, I will start the rumor because I think that's it's so dumb. It's the same reasons I don't like the new WCS system, in the ways that it punishes the players who are good at the game. I think it's silly.
Well,
and I'm sorry.
The Ling Flood on the way is pretty interesting. Well, it's something that, like, I don't know. It can't be, what's the word, corroborated?
Corroborate. So yeah, I mean, I will state publicly, this is rumors coming from Rifkin. As far as you guys know, I could be making this up out of my ass. And that's what you should take at most with my statement. But I am just personally very frustrated by it because I think it sucks that we live in a world where people do get punished for doing well. Like, you think, like, oh, the better you do, the better things should be, right? Like, plain and simple.
Sure.
Okay, so at least the deep was down. It's a little unfortunate. But maybe on purpose. Does catch all the links for it. Loses a couple of SCVs, but really not too many. Somewhat manageable. Botvinnik, though, is starting to lose some of these Hellions as he starts to fight instead of kite.
Yeah, it's still out for a lot better for him, though. That was a lot of Lings. These last ones aren't going to be able to do too much more, and 4 Hellions still survive. He was going for a 2-base push, so it looks pretty funky, you know, only having Hellions, not Hellbats, but he might have been planning on an Armory. around the same time that he was attacked, which makes it look very awkward. He's going for 2 medevacs now. There was not a scout on the lack of a 3rd command center, as far as I know. He's scouting again with another Overlord, so I think he's confirming that it is 2 base. You see 2 engineering bay, and you might assume, which makes it really odd that there's a 3rd CC, but there isn't. There is going to be medevacs in your face with Marines and Stim.
Well, the Overlord drop is actually kind of cute. Botvinnik actually does not have vision on his base to see this, so initially this will be a bit of an issue, but it depends how many things really get up here. The current amount of Marines, with medevac support, actually, I don't think can take this on, so he's going to drop with it. Because the problem is he has to drop one at a time. He's just going to blow right past it.
There are still Hellions available. Raise Depot's at the front. Oh, no, those Hellions are still over there. Oh, JK, there's actually nothing then. That was all of his army.
Oh, God, this is going to go really badly for Botvinnik. Depots over here aren't lowered either, so he can't actually retreat the SCVs out the same way he's trying to. This is all kinds of bad. He's going to bring 3 Hellions back home, but that's all he has to defend with 3 Hellions.
At the same time, this is all the army for Botvinnik. That was all the army for Guru, and he has nothing. He doesn't even have a Baneling nest to even use the Lings with, and he lost his own drone line.
Actually, if he holds up at the main now, raises the depots, he could be fine.
I think Botvinnik will come out of this a little bit nicer, but we'll see what his control looks like. I mean, the lair goes down, back to 2 bases for him. He should just be able to pick up and save whatever Marines he can. The Queens are now on top of the medevacs. Yeah, just pick up.
Trades out best of his abilities. I mean, it's weird, right? He's down to 3 SCVs, but there's mules. There's 2 CCs. He's not in such a bad spot. Guru, though, I mean, it's 4 bases. Well, I guess 3, excuse me.
Yeah.
But it's 38 workers. Like, which really is better in this situation?
I think that Guru actually assumed. I thought he was going to be able to save maybe 15 workers.
I just realized there's no army supply on the overlay right now. How did that disappear? I've never seen that happen before.
I don't know. But I thought he was going to save maybe 15 workers. Even 10 would have been better. To save only 3, I think Guru did definitely do enough damage. Ended up being really wonky.
What little he has is trying to repair, and it's not cutting it, so... I mean, if the attack on the other side of the map had been able to go further, had he been able to continue pushing, this might have been a game he could have recovered and won with, but not so, unfortunately. More just burning down. He doesn't have anything to actually repair with, and again, for Guru, it just looks too good to lose at this point.
It does. Again, no Baneling Nest. He's playing a little bit with fire here, but he's depending on his Queens being protected by the medevacs and enough Lings to be able to take down the Marines in the ground. I mean, Guru was playing a very aggressive style. I don't really blame Botvinnik for getting a little caught off guard on multiple occasions, but he certainly has been, and he's going to lose the game for it. Even army supply and a couple of Marines over here will be able to take it out. They have 1-1 versus just 1 attack, so they are damn good Marines.
Yeah, and there's no Banelings, as you said before. The Baneling nest is only on the way, so the timing here isn't too terrible. He's going to take down that Evolution Chamber.
I think go for the Baneling nest next.
Oh God,
getting
so
the Queens actually would be pretty good too.
He's overstimmed. No, he lost the medevac, and he's overstimmed. This is not going to go well for him. This was pretty much everything for him on the line to win the game right here, right now, and it's not going to happen. So Transfuse even saves the Queen, scans the 3rd. Really, there's a 4th, though, and I mean, Botvinnik's going to stay in it. I thought he was going to tap out right there. The medevac losses are the things he absolutely cannot afford to replace. Those are the most expensive thing.
Yeah, it's the one thing they bring him back into this game, and the fact that the Queens are able to kill it without any extra help is not a good sign. He's still going to stay in it. I thought when he scanned that 4th base, he was going to tap out immediately, but I guess not. He still sees an opportunity. Medevacs can certainly provide it, but he is now about a 3rd that of Guru's supply.
Yeah. As it's so long since I've had to use the Control A feature, guys. I'm sorry, I don't know why the army tab isn't showing up, but there you go, you can see the army supply. So Botvinnik is not even ahead in army supply. Again, that trade-out kind of is, you lose all your workers, but you're ahead in army, you can still push to win, you can still push to fight. But the cost-effective trades are just not going to be here. Nidenheim just hit us up with a 10-month resub. Woo! Thank you very much.
Pathogen glands are about to finish. The infestors were made before that, unfortunately, but any new infestors will now be able to have it. Ooh. And that'll probably be the nail in the coffin. Now they'll be able to micro and able to lift up in the medevacs. The Queen should be able to shoot those down. It's all good.
Well, as this game does come to a bit of an end for Botvinnik, I will say he's going out swinging. And when there were no Banelings, I thought maybe there's that chance, Yeah,
well, when Botvinnik still had 20 SCVs, I thought there was still that chance. And he quickly lost the rest of them.
Nice
focus fire on the Banelings is pretty good. All the infestors are out of energy, and there's no new ones on the way, but this is most of his army.
This is what I like, though. You don't see a lot of situations like this where, okay, Botvinnik's clearly losing the game, right? Okay, fine. Some of you are going to see this as stubborn and stupid, and you're like, get out, get out, get out. Why are you not getting out? But what I see as a Terran player who, well, is definitely losing and perhaps maybe a bit stubborn, is showcasing some pretty good control, showcasing some good skill. The focus fire was sick. GG. Guru wins.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like Botvinnik went down in style. You know, it's like that Toy Story mentality. Like, I'm not flying, I'm falling with style or whatever.
It's been a long time since I watched Toy Story.
Man, Toy Story was like probably the first animated movie, I think, is that? Maybe that or Ants, I don't know which. It's so long ago.
Ugh. I like Toy Story, and I've liked all the Toy Story movies, but I don't see them as the perfect, like, animated movie that not even a lot of people do, but a lot of reviewers do.
I don't see anything close to like perfect animated movie, but it's an enjoyable animated movie, and that's all I take from it. Like, I don't really care about stacking it up. It's like, oh, it's only got 98 points as opposed to my 99 for like this other movie.
Well,
like,
it really is odd though that I guess Guru relogged.
Yeah, he just went offline.
Okay, that Toy Story is like everyone likes it. It's like who doesn't like parfaits, I guess. You can't just be like, I don't like Toy Story. Everyone likes it, but the amount of like credit it gets from reviewers and like the animation community is just it's never been like up to par for me. I guess on like the emotional level, I can recognize it's a good movie, but I'm not like emotionally attached to it. Not like The Lion King or Mulan, whatever.
Mulan, I think I don't really. Yeah, the story from Mulan was fine. Like, I'm not criticizing anything about the movie, but it's not what sold me on it. It was the music. It was the, like... And I think that's the case for a lot of Disney movies. I'm not sitting there like, oh, man, I took a lot from Timon and Pumbaa, and I apply that to my life growing up. But, you know, have no worries for the rest of your life.
I don't like any of the Lion King music that has vocals in it.
What?
Like that's that song. Yeah, I don't think I like a single one.
A mighty king,
but the
like
best
no
music that was in that movie was during the Stampede. That was some like pulse, like heart racing type music. That was good.
That's also because you didn't know if Mufasa was gonna die or not, man, or Simba for that matter. You're just like, I have no idea what's happening.
Dude, when he first hears the Stampede and he looks around and there's that really like high like, oh god, it's really good. Anyways, they're ready to go. Are you?
Yeah. Long live the king. All right. Dusk Towers for Game 2. It was Botvinnik's map choice. We'll see you guys here in just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It is game number 2. And just to take this one step further, I guess Patience made a post about the whole Dead Pixels thing. So again, I'm a little bit more passionate about this because of my anger with the system, but as you can see, he's talking about how he can't compete abroad and whatnot, so kind of sucks, kind of silly, but it's the world we live in now. At any rate, I do wish him the best of luck, and I want to see Patience play and more stuff, but either way, getting into the Corsair Cup semifinals, bottom left side of Dusk Towers, we've got none other than the yellow Terran player, it's Botvinnik.
The top right, as the green Zerg, it is Guru.
And while we haven't talked about it much today, mentioning it here and there, I would like to recommend that if you guys are looking for any Corsair gear, do us a favor and scroll down on the Twitch page, go to the info tabs, and click those links, even if you're not going to buy anything immediately. That's gear we've been giving away for the last couple of months. That's gear we've been raffling off to our viewers, not just our subscribers. And if you guys want to see what you have a chance to win, those links will take you to their websites. But of course, well, I don't have a lot of strong opinions on the mouse. I really love their keyboard, and I really, really love their headsets. So I would recommend checking either of those out.
Yep.
But anyways, this was Botvinnik's map pick, and I am a little bit curious if he has any special plans for it, or if he just wanted another standard-ish map, so he didn't have to worry about weird things like Orena or Liralac Crest, for example.
Did we do the map, the player intros?
I thought we did.
Man. Huh. I'm amazing.
Okay,
shut up.
in the bottom left, it's the yellow Terran player, Botvinnik.
I really can't remember. In the top right, it's Guru? No, actually, it starts sounding a little
pretty
familiar.
sure we did. I don't know why you're asking.
I don't know. It completely blanks on whether we did it or not.
Well,
I guess usually I don't think about it.
As long as you don't ask me again in 30 seconds, I think we're fine.
then you gotta be worried.
This is like Zombie Group. Do you have like early onsets like Alzheimer's? What's happening, man?
Please no, that would be the worst.
Like, at first it was like just couldn't remember the game from last week, but now I can't remember the intro from 30 seconds ago.
Oh, no, thank you.
Where am I? Did we do the intros yet?
You're like Dory.
In the bottom left.
Let's see here. It is Dust Towers, and it was Botvinnik's choice, yeah. I think it's just a standard map. Not that it really plays too well into Terran, but there are the Liberator builds that can abuse positions specifically on Dusk Towers, and you might be looking towards that with a starport on the way.
A little bit of a scuffle going on over here. It's keeping Botvinnik from being able to move that factory over. But the Marine does handle it, so well done. Of course, getting that Hellion production up. This is something that was once upon a time a little bit shamed upon, frowned upon. Hellions just weren't really in the matchup anymore. Players were a lot more inclined to do cheesy things, faster spires or Nighty Swarms included. But now the Hellions have kind of found their way back in the matchup, which I'm a pretty big fan of. I like Banshees as well, especially if you're expecting your opponent to go Roaches at any given point.
Yeah, I think that Hellion Banshee certainly is still the very safe opener, but just not against Nighty Swarms.
Okay, he's gonna go Medevac first. Interesting. I thought for
That is
sure that was gonna be
interesting.
the swap over.
So, I guess it's going to be Hellion drops. If it's not Hellion drops, then there should be an armory on the way soon. Because he's going to be going for the Hellions first and the Marines afterwards. Not a lot of Marines, mind you, but still some. Even just 3 or 4 can add a lot of damage. But so no armory, in fact, a 3rd command center. So it is just going to be, I think, that Hellion drop as he boosts it forward without those medevacs. It seems to be the Hellions' lot in life. They are eventually just going to be suicided in some way or another to get the link kills.
It's going to be a nice bit of payback, though, considering, let's not forget, Guru kind of got away with his own drops last game, and that's what caused Botvinnik to lose so badly. Ugh.
Yeah, it is certainly payback. I mean, his Hellions actually had a very nice job last game. They took those first 30 lings to the face and looked good for it, and then it just, tumbled from there, but looking for some revenge for that tumble effect is going into the natural first, trying to skirt the edges a little bit. I do not think that Guru has seen this. He has a couple of Roaches on the way, but only one coming out here.
Well, the Hellions do land and, just kind of frying up some of these drones, but this is hardly massive kills. The medevac's what's nice. It makes this hard to clean up. The Roaches are revealed through this, and that medevac's actually getting really low, so I don't know how long he can really stick around with this.
It should die.
Well, he could actually get that out if he ran to the left, but he didn't. He ran down. That's not good. This attack is worth it, like the way it happened, if you get that medevac out alive at least. Liberator is going to set up in the main, but there's some Spore Crawlers he can maneuver around, so this won't be too bad. But this was not a great opening out of Botvinnik. It's not been bad, but it's not been great.
Yeah, it's been okay. As long as his macro behind it was good, then everything's fine. And his macro has been good. Like 3cc, Orbital just finishing up here. We do have Guru going for Mutilating Bling, which is something that Botvinnik will have to scout, as he only saw the Roaches. He saw Roach Warren, he saw a couple pop out. It might be thinking to the wrong composition. Now, luckily, if you go tanks for Roaches, they're still useful versus Mutilating Bling because, thanks to that pickup mechanic on the medevac. But it's still, you have missile turrets to help defend. Will you drop right into the face of 2 mutas because you weren't, or right in the face of mutas because you weren't expecting mutas to be coming out? Like, you still want to have eyes on the composition.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because Mutilating Bling is not exactly something you would expect to see after those Roaches. But, Spire will be finished up here in just a moment. Medevacs are moving out. The timing on this is going to be nice, because there will be no Mutalisks, actually out in play. But this will be something where ideally he'll either see them spawning, or he'll get on top of that Spire quickly. Either way, Botvinnik has quite a big drop heading towards the main. And I would love to see that Liberator use as sort of a landing zone secural rather than, deny the mining.
This hurts so much for a Zerg player. Right before your mutas are out, you also don't have a lot of ground units because you were banking for said mutas, and the mutas will not help out that much versus the Marines. But the Roaches and drones, they might just be enough here to, clean everything up, but it was heavy losses.
Yeah, 13 drones go down. The medevacs, can you get the medevacs out alive at least? That's kind of the question here. Sacrifices one to get the other out. Don't think it's going to get home in time, but one of the other small details not to be overlooked is that was 4 queens going down. There's no injects happening right now. There's no creep being spread. This was all of Guru's queens on the back end going down.
Mm-hmm. And for 2 medevacs worth and a Liberator, that is worth it.
Oh, is he actually
However,
getting medevac out?
Botvinnik's... okay, 1 medevac then. Botvinnik's macro really was hit hard doing that. He is almost making 1,000 minerals. He wanted to have his production already going, maybe 2 factories even, 7 barracks, not just 5 or 8 barracks. And, well, he unfortunately missed all of that because he was microing. So I think even his combat shields was a little later than it should be. Does he have an armory? Doesn't even have an armory. So he's actually faltering pretty hard behind that really good drop. I mean, is it enough to like make him in the game? No, but it's enough that Guru can make up for the drop's damage. 21 workers is quite a lot, combined with the Hellion drops that happened, but he's still on 4 bases. He's going to have some muta control for quite some time as he's going up into almost 20, which is that, you know, starting to get to that amount that they really have to seriously consider a counterattack threat.
Well, it's funny because of the drone count. I realize you mentioned the snow workers died, sure, but there's still 70 drones in play, so it's not too bad for this. But I looked at the economy chart while you were talking too, and I didn't realize that Guru had actually been ahead, you know, prior to that drop. So Botvinnik really did a nice job with that drop.
Good.
Yeah,
Follow-up, unfortunately, was just it's not quite there.
The Mutalisks bring up 2 very interesting things now, like. There's Liberators being made, so the Mutas could all die in a blaze of glory. But at the same time, if used correctly, they should never really be taking engagements. They should be harassing and flying around the sides.
Yeah. I'm surprised he's not bulking them up. It looks almost lazy with his mutas right now, as they keep on going just, you know, they're kind of magic box, but on purpose, which is not ideal when you're trying to snipe supply depots and Marines. Here they go, they clump up, but it's not to kill a mutant missile turret. The repair was too good. Botvinnik's defense on 3 base is great, like, and that's fantastic for him as he gets up to a very scary-looking army. But this is time that Guru should be using to not only get to a 5th base, but also 2-2, as he never got that +1 melee, actually 1-2, and Ultralisk. And if Botvinnik gets to maxed out, and Guru is still on Mutilating Bling, then Botvinnik is back in this game big time. That's something that these mutas are not supposed to let happen. They're supposed to take some supreme control and outpace the Terran player in this situation. Outpace the Botvinnik. He gets the tank for a muta is actually okay. And the planetary is going to try and be set up here, but no missile turrets. The Marines have to be very careful not to overstim themselves too. The Marines actually on the main base, and the mutas. Oh no!
Oh, the Thor! It is a Thor.
Oh Jesus! Oh jeez! Why would you try and take that engagement?
It's not about trying to take the engagement, but he didn't even split. He didn't even try to split. Like, Guru just went in there saying, like, okay, if I'm spread a little bit, it'll be fine. And that's the one problem we've seen Zerg players really having a hard time to adjust to. If the mutas are spread the way they were against Thors, that's actually perfectly adequate. But Liberators have a much bigger splash radius, and you do have to put that little bit of extra effort into it. But I agree, at the core of it, that was not an engagement that should have been taken in the first place. In fact, that was 20 mutas, by the way. He had killed like 2 up to that point. 20 now dead.
Well, that's given Botvinnik a lot of power now, as he no longer has to worry quite as much about the Mutalisk, but he's still getting some. I mean, it's still a count of 15.
Right, there's still an admirable amount in play that you have to worry about. I actually get a little bit more concerned for Guru because he hasn't done any harass since those initial drops. Like, those are fantastic, cool, 2 thumbs up, but now Guru's getting away with this side of the map. This creep spread in the middle, he's on a 5th base. I mean, now Botvinnik's going to push, and this is where it gets scary for both teams, but more so for Guru.
The main push is quite scary. Botvinnik entirely maxed out, has a bank 2 behind this, and Guru was not able to get up to Ultralisk before this push happened, so he is just on that basic layer composition. A couple of Corruptors to help out versus the Liberators, but it's actually more about the ground army.
They don't really connect to anything. They hit the Marauders and the Thor, and the Marines just safely sit in the back so they continue to advance forward. Down almost half the supply. Each of these Banelings is going to have to get like 3+ kills to be cost effective, because there's just not that many Banelings in play. And even then, how do you deal with the Liberators? Well, the Corruptors actually will probably deal with that, but regardless, that means Guru Supply is even worse off than we realize because so much of it is in Corruptors. Tanks live through the engagement. There's 9lings on the ground. That's all he has to fight with. Even if these medevacs go down, like, there's still more than enough to deal with it. GG! Botvinnik takes the game, ties up the series 1-1. And I see now why he wanted this map. Again, that safe, standard, no worry about crazy shenanigans. Like, he played that out well.
Yes, he did.
We are going to go to a small commercial break, though, of 2 minutes while we figure out this next game. So do not go anywhere while we wait for Guru to pick the last map in this best of 3. We'll see you guys soon. So, good news, bad news. Good news.
Yeah.
Twitch is at least acknowledging that there's problems. Bad news. I've unfortunately fallen susceptible to them. So, the viewer count on XSplit has dropped to 0, and Twitch has broken for me, and I can no longer use it. So, for anyone watching in chat, this is one of those great opportunities for us to just kind of mention that we do have a Discord server. And if you guys want to keep the chat up and it's not working for you, but for some reason you can still see the stream, I would recommend joining us on Discord. If you're subbed to the channel, it'll automatically show you. It should show up under your thing, but we'll talk about that afterwards. Hang on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 3 racks is coming down out of Botvinnik in a very strange way. 4th, surely to be queued. This is not with gas. This is not for Reapers.
So this is interesting because what would look like was a gases expand, which is kind of making its way back. We see it versus Protoss occasionally, and maybe once in a blue moon against Zerg. Guru actually might not even scout the other gas. It might assume that it's a second gas signal on the other side. But the point is, the second overload that Guru is sending to the middle of the map has been changed. Its pathway has been changed because of those 3 or 4 axes that we've seen. So it should have seen it by now, and you should have Guru at the very least mentally prepared. But now he won't be.
That's actually really cool. For that reason, I kind of like this, and it's a short rush distance. So I mean, it's not that much worse to put them back like this. But I do want to stress, we never see this work versus Zerg. We always talk about it. It's almost like a curse. Like this build, it obviously wins games because people go for it. I don't think anyone would go for this build if it lost games as often as it does. But every time we cast this in a tournament, this does not work. Now, Marine's going to try and kill the Overlord. This would have been a huge snipe, actually, to block out Guru's supply. But now Guru's fully aware of what's going on, and Botvinnik kind of has to go. He's going to pull SCVs with it.
Oh, shit.
And this is, again, like, normally we see this in the middle of the map. The SCV pull's not that alarming because it doesn't pull all the SCVs. He just needs some to be able to A, buffer, and then B, build a bunker if at all possible. And frankly, because Guru had been getting away with droning a little bit, not super crazy, mind you, Lings are on the way, but he did get away with droning. There's not a lot of Lings already in play. They're all on the way.
One of the downsides to where that Botvinnik did it is that the SCVs weren't already building a bunker. You know, the first one didn't finish, and then he built a bunker before the hatchery sees it.
I don't think he's looking for a bunker. But
yeah, obviously he's not looking for a bunker. He just kills the queen and just goes right on past into the main base.
He wanted the other queen. Actually, that's really clever of Guru to hide it because he didn't know that that's what the hunt was for. But the SCVs kind of zone out the drones. This is really strange, but it looks like it's getting cleaned up, and you do need to snowball with this. Like 2, 3 Marines aren't going to fight trickling forward, and I think Guru has won this game at this point. Not enough drones were killed. If there were, you're like, cool, mules are great and your SCVs win, but that's not gonna work.
Yeah, you definitely see the reasoning as to why he just bolted in head first because he saw not a lot of Lings.
Yo,
but
these Marines actually hold. What the
Guru actually was very clever in the way that he hid them with that queen too, and that was really nice. Like and even though the Marines held, it's still Guru's game.
The question I kind of draw from this, though, is, like, would that have mattered killing the queen? Would it have mattered seeing the Lings? You know, speed's done now. Looks like he's going to pull the rest of his SCVs and go for one last desperate plea to try and win this game. But as cool as this tactic is, I just want to stress again, like, we never see this work at any time we cast it. I am really curious what the actual ladder win ratio is on this to encourage players to actually go for this strategy.
I don't know, man. It might just be some, like, old attachment to the 2 racks. You know, it doesn't even actually work that much, but they want a cheese. They want a barracks cheese.
I feel like Reapers are so much better, though, if you're going to follow that mentality, because you only do need 2 racks then if that's the case.
I don't know. But a full Lings round of Speedlings, too, and that's going to be it for Botvinnik. GG, ZVZ it is.
Alright, so Guru is going to move on to the finals, where he will fight against Revolver. And that's going to be a best of 5. As we do finish up the stream, but we might take a few minutes here because I want Twitch to be fixed for this. It kind of defeats the purpose of broadcasting a tournament if we're not actually sure anyone can watch it. So those of you who can hear us right now, that's awesome, that's excellent, but it doesn't help us in this situation. So we're going to go to an extended break. We're going to inform the players. Luckily, it's 2 Europeans, so nobody's up at like 4 a.m. in their time. But we are going to go to a break and wait until Twitch basically tweets that everything's okay before we come back with the finals. So a best of 5 to finish the day, hopefully whenever Twitch is fixed. So for those of you who can hear us, great. And for those of you who can't, well, then you can't hear this message, so it doesn't matter anyways. So we'll be back in hopefully not too long, guys.